Hi everyone, welcome to the daily reading. It is August 12th today, Monday, August 12th, and for those of you who are waking up on the other side of the pond, it will be the 13th of August when you wake up, which is actually my youngest son's birthday, so we'll be celebrating his birthday tomorrow. I had a really hard time pulling myself together this morning. And I was like really grateful that I have everything scheduled in the second half of the day and not in the first half of today. And looking at the sky or looking at the cosmos, the stuff that's going on in the cosmos, I need to put this on Do Not Disturb. Sorry, I always forget to do that. When I was looking at the stuff that was going on in the cosmos this morning, it makes a lot of sense because we have the moon in Capricorn coming up conjunct to Saturn and to Pluto. They're both, it's right now it's within like 3 degrees, but because the moon travels so quickly, within the next 24 hours, it will be exactly conjunct at some point with Saturn and Pluto. So, and so I recognize that I'm really, again, really affected when the moon is in transit and it's hitting certain points. And this has happened obviously every month that the moon is in Capricorn, while Pluto and Saturn have also been in Capricorn. But it's really a time to reflect on your emotions versus, it's like sometimes you can get into an illusionary point of lessons that you're learning right now, because Saturn talks about, the karmic activity and Pluto talks about transformations, and the moon can sometimes be an aspect that you're not really seeing everything clearly. Sometimes it's more of an emotional than a logical, right? It's directly related to the feminine aspect. And so your emotions could be a little bit, when I get really super emotional, I just get tired lately. And I think a lot of that is because the downloads, it's so much easier for me to be downloaded with information from source when my intuition, because my emotions and my intuition are on point with each other. So it just makes me tired, and it was just kind of hard to roll out of bed today. But the really cool thing is so Uranus went into retrograde last night. And Uranus is going to be retrograde until January 10th of 2020. And during this time, Uranus is currently in Taurus. It's going to stay in Taurus. Last year when it went into retrograde, it went back into Aries for a little bit, but it has moved further into Taurus. So there is not a chance that it will go back into Aries this time. We're going to be in Taurus until I believe it's 2025. I'm going to double check that. July 7th, 2025. I have several different apps that I use, but that one that I just looked at was Ingresses. And I have an iPhone, so it may not be on Android. But yeah, that it can just kind of tell you where the planets are and the degrees and the retrogrades and stuff like that. So it's just kind of a little cheat sheet that I use because there's so much information to remember. So with Uranus in retrograde, and we have Jupiter direct. It went direct yesterday. So right now we have Uranus in retrograde. Saturn is still in retrograde until March 21st, 2020. And I'm sorry, Saturn is in retrograde not until March 20th. That's when it leaves Capricorn. It will go direct. September 17th. So Saturn is the next one to go direct. And then we have Neptune and Pluto also in retrograde. October 3rd, Pluto goes direct. And November 27th is when Neptune goes direct. And then we'll only have Uranus in retrograde until January. So it's going to be like a slow, steady thing. And then in January, when Uranus goes direct, everything will be direct again. And so we always start the new year with all of the planets direct. So like the third week in January. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I just wanted to give you guys that quick information so you know so you can kind of see the progression while everything goes direct. With Uranus in retrograde, and with all these other planets in retrograde, this reflection time is it's not going to be as potent as, say, like a Mercury retrograde, because Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, those are all planets that are further out, you know, like in the outer rim, right? I'm doing this all in layman's terms, so I know that there are going to be some astrologers out there saying she's not using the right wording, and I'm just using it in layman's terms because a lot of people don't understand astrology enough for me to be like, this and this and this and this. This is just like bare bones, right? So in the outer rim, these are the planets that are further away. And then, so they affect us, but they don't affect us, say, like Mercury would, Mars would, Venus would. These are all closer to Earth and affect us on a daily basis. The sun, the moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury. So it will affect us, but it's not going to be so jolting like a Mercury retrograde would be, or a Mars or a Venus. So, but it is going to ask of you to honor your past, look back into your past, because Uranus is the planet of transformation. It's change, it's innovation, it's moving forward, and it's in a sign that doesn't like any of that. Taurus likes to stay really, really stable and really, really grounded. And so some of us are all about change and movement forward and all of that all of the time. And some of us are all about stability and not changing anything. This Uranus retrograde is going to ask for you to honor yourself in a way where you can try and balance both of those out. Doesn't matter where you are in your journey. It doesn't matter if you're the person that likes to change all the time or you're the person that likes to stay stable all the time. Having a healthy balance of being open-minded to change and moving forward and doing things in a different way is really, really big when it comes to your spiritual journey. Because a lot of us, like when we go through our awakening process, that's all it is just constant change, right? Like I can tell you that for the last 2.5 years, my life has been like a constant movement of change. And I don't mind because I'm mostly mutable, but I'm also there's a lot of Virgo and Earth in my chart. So I like the idea of stability as well. So it's very interesting because I know the balance, like where my stability balance what I'm learning, right? When it comes to my past and how I was stable or unstable and what I need to do in order to find my stability, but also be really open-minded to the changes that are coming at the same time. So, and it's a personal journey. It's going to be different for everybody. So the questions that I want you to ask yourself during this time or in the beginning, and we'll start to manifest some things because the Aquarius full moon, Uranus actually rules Aquarius, and the Aquarius full moon is on Thursday, and we'll do our ritual on Thursday for the Aquarius full moon. But that's going to be a time for us to manifest letting some things go in order for this Uranus retrograde to come in and work in our lives. Okay? So I want you to ask yourself this one thing. Where is it that I'm holding myself back? Actually, two questions. Where is it that I'm holding myself back? And where is it that I need to be a little bit more stable in my life? And when you're asking yourself those things, I want you to do it in a quiet place, and I want you to allow yourself to actually listen to what yourself is telling you. Okay? Because that's one of the biggest things is we'll get into meditation or we'll get into a quiet place and we'll try and talk to our higher selves. And then we're like, I don't know if it's my intuition I'm listening to or my higher self I'm listening to, or if it's my ego. Now, your ego is only about the numbers. It's only about the gains. It's only about getting what you want and getting where you want, regardless of who you're hurting or, you know what I mean? Your ego is about everything on the outside, everything that looks, you know, that's like environmental. And so your higher self, the things that when you're asking yourself, where is it that I need to change and where is it that I need to find some more stability? It's going to be a heart-centered question. It's not going to be based on the gains you can receive or the life that, like, your life can look better than somebody else's, if you will. That would be your ego talking. So really listen to your heart-centered space. We're going to use the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot again today for the reading. Really quick, I restocked a couple of necklaces online. So I have a couple of the black tourmaline. I have, I think, one citrine, and I also have some rose quartz that are available. I also have the red calcite, and there was one more that is available right now. I mean, they keep going so fast, and then I restock them, and then they're gone again within like a day. So if you want to get a necklace, make sure, because we're only going to do one more batch of 10, and then that's going to be it for a while. I am going to stock some moonstone. I don't have any up there right now. The moonstone would be really good for manifesting during moon phases. I think it's just the black tourmaline, the rose quartz, and the citrine that I restocked. So, and of course we have the red calcite, which clears out your root chakra. It helps to release negative blockages from your root chakra. The red calcite does. So if you're a person that's like constantly changing all the time and you can't find your stability and your life is a big, huge, gigantic, chaotic mess, red calcite is the one for you. And I believe that there's one or two of those stocked. Also, my readings are 20% through August. Those are filling up so fast that it's really hard for me to keep up with the emails. So if you have ordered a reading from me, please give me at least a day to get in contact with you to schedule it before you email me and ask me why I'm not responding to you. At least 1 or 2 days right now, because with whenever things are on sale, it's like everybody wants a little bit extra. Sorry, I gotta take a drink of my water that's over here. Okay, I promise you that's water. I just have it in there because it's easier to drink out of a straw than a bottle. All right. So, yeah. This is exactly what I was feeling before. And it really goes along with the energy that's happening. Now, remember that time isn't linear and energy is fluid. So if this reading doesn't resonate today, it might pop up in your head and be like, oh man, like in a couple weeks, and be like, oh man, I need to go watch Betsy's Uranus retrograde reading. But I have the Four of Wands, and I have the Hanged Man, and I have the Ace of Cups. This kind of goes along with the theme that we've been talking about lately. Sorry, I got to release some energy in my neck. The theme that we've been talking about, looking at things in a different perspective in order to love yourself. Because there are some situations in your life where things can make you really feel like you're stuck and you can't go anywhere and you're not doing anything. It's like, my whole life is stable. Everything looks really, really good right now, but why do I feel so stuck? Why do I feel like I can't move forward? And a lot of it is because you are looking in the outside world for validation for how you feel, or why you might be stuck, or whatever issue or problem is going on in your life. You're looking for support from the outside world when you really need to be looking for it from the inside out, right? So when it comes to allowing yourself to see things from an inner perspective, because whatever it is that you feel on the inside, that's going to manifest in the outside. So if you're sitting there in a confused state, yeah, there's a lot of confusion going on right now. A lot of confusion. 7 of Cups, because it's like there are so many options, or maybe no options whatsoever. And that's what's making things confusing, right? You either have too many things to choose or not enough. Too many things to choose from. And when I say too many things, I mean when it comes to your stability, when it comes to your environment, when it comes to your job, when it comes to the people that are around you, when it comes to what is my next move in life? What am I going to do? Where do I belong? How do I do this? Yada, ... right? You can ask the whens, the whys, the hows, the wheres, all you want. But when it comes down to it, when you get quiet and you allow yourself to see things from a different perspective, where there is actually some kind of stability in your life that's present right now, when you allow yourself to look at it from a different perspective and see that the stability comes from the inside and not from your environment necessarily. It's like saying home is where the heart is, right? So people, places, and things, or just within yourself. That was a really big lesson I learned in the last year, that it didn't matter what it looked like on the outside, because I traveled so much that it felt like I was disconnected from everything and everyone, right? So the more I allowed myself to feel like it was a negative thing that I was so disconnected, instead of looking on the outside, I found that stability within myself. Then we have the 8 of Cups, and we have the 5 of Pentacles. There is an emotional burden that's kind of, it feels very much like, sorry, I have like a hair that's tickling me. I don't think so, it's gone. There's an emotional burden that you're holding on to right now, that, and some of it might have to do with your money situation. Some of it might have to do with the fact that you don't feel like you have enough in life. And that very well may be true, that you don't have enough funds, you don't have like a roof over your head, nobody's helping you, whatever, right? But again, like I said, your outside is going to reflect how you feel inside, and vice versa. You can find joy even if you're lacking in material things on the outside. You can still find joy in situations. I'm not going to get really, really in depth about that, because one thing is I know that sometimes when I say things like the 5 of Pentacles is a lack mentality, and it doesn't even mean that you're necessarily lacking in material things. I feel like this is a lack mentality, and I feel like this is something that you're holding on to from, it's like you grew up, like, or you were raised thinking that your life was supposed to look a particular way, and it doesn't look that way. And now you have to release that. You have to cut ties with the idea that your life, because you were programmed to believe that you were supposed to have the big house with the white picket fence and the garage and the dog in the yard and the family and in the suburbs, right? Like, that's the life that you thought. And you're in a 1-bedroom apartment that doesn't have central air or central, it's like your life looks completely different than you thought it was going to look like, because you were programmed to believe, and society tells us, right? This Uranus retrograde is, Uranus is the planet of saying, I'm not going to do what you want me to do, so don't even try. Like, Uranus is all about not going with the norms, not going with societal norms. Have you ever met an Aquarius that literally, like, everything in their life is exactly the way society, or the way that they think is exactly the way society wants them to think? Like, I've looked at an Aquarius life and it looks very quote unquote normal for that, but their ideas and their thought processes, not normal. But it's expansive, it's innovative, it's more than what we could ask for, right? So that's what I'm saying. Uranus rules Aquarius, and that's why I'm talking about Aquarius right now. Uranus rules Aquarius. So Uranus is the planet that is shifting the most stable sign around for the next 6 years. And it's asking of us to let go of all of the ways that we were tied into the stagnancy of life, right? The programming of life. And some of that is really, really emotional. So, for example, if you were part of a church growing up, right? And now everything is changing. Your whole idea of what religion means or whatever, and I don't have anything against religion. Like, I grew up in the church as well. Like, I grew up Christian as well. That I have no judgments, right? But your idea of the whole universe and source and everything that belongs in it is changing now. And now you don't even know where you belong anymore. That's kind of the feeling that Uranus is going to give us. So 4 of Wands. This is all about having that stable environment, the people around us, right? And, you know, yesterday's energy of moving really fast through things, and knowing that we are manifesting things at a really rapid rate right now can bring you into a place of, oh shit, I was going so fast yesterday and now I've slowed down and I have to think, right? It can be that wobbly thing. And that's what they're asking of you. They're asking of you to really take a step back, allow yourself to look at everything, the bigger picture, everything, to recognize where it is that you want to be stable, but where you're not, or where it is that you need to change because you haven't been open-minded and flexible enough. Let's see what the Hanged Man is. That's what the Ace of Swords. It's like the universe is giving you ideas. And if you do feel stuck, some people are really going to hate me. Meditation. I don't care who it is or who you think you are. And if you tell me, but Betsy, I meditate every day and I still don't have answers, then you need to get into deeper meditation. I'm going to actually I'm going to put up a new guided meditation on Patreon this week for those of you who have the Everything and More plan. So, where you get Twin Flame readings, you get Love Extended readings, and I'm going to do my first guided meditation. It'll be sometime this week. I'm working on it right now. I want to make sure that it's perfect. But that's the thing is, the 4 of Cups in this deck, which is the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, illustrated by Scott Murphy. This guy here in the 4 of Cups, it's not about apathy, right? It's not about apathy. It's about meditation. It's about getting quiet. He's sitting there with this emotion surrounding him, and he's getting in touch with source. He's rooted himself in the ground. This is the easiest way for you to get grounded, is to sit in the dirt and meditate. But I guarantee you he's also connected through his crown chakra. So when you're feeling stuck, the way that you're going to see things in a different perspective is if you meditate. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, it's not that simple. No, it's not that simple, because then you have to act on after your meditations. It's like yesterday when I said my higher self would tell me something and I'd be like, oh, for Pete's sake, I already knew that. That's so stupid. I can't believe that. And then like I'd be all frustrated because then I'd have to actually act on it because I knew my intuition was telling me it was right the whole time, right? So this is a time to find out what it is that you really, really want in life and start manifesting from a place of gratitude and manifesting from a place of groundedness. That doesn't mean that you have to be in a stable environment constantly. You could be grounded without being in a stable environment. Some of you are actually going to either pull back and be on your own, because the Hermit on the Ace of Cups, I feel like some of you need some alone time, especially with this 4 of Cups and this Hanged Man and the 8 of Cups down here too, just to figure things out. It's like you need to be able to really, really, really get in touch with your heart center. And I feel like the only way you're going to be able to do that is in silence and feeling like a hermit, feeling like you can get your answers quietly is huge, right? Because it's like the bustle of life, right? Where we're constantly like faces in our phones. You can't get answers that way. Your answer is not in your phone. Your answer is not on TV. In fact, your answer's not even on YouTube. So if you have to stop watching me so you listen to yourself a little bit more, by all means, it's not going to hurt my feelings. Because my goal here is to teach you guys that getting in touch with your heart center, and the easiest way for you to do that is through meditation, is going to give you more answers to your existence and the questions that you have about your existence than anything else will. Okay, so let's see what the 7 of Cups is. Yep. And the 8 of Cups, and that's it for now. There it is. The Three of Swords on the Seven of Cups. You know, and if you have a lot of options in your life, I feel like the confusion with this Three of Swords, some of it really has to do with the fact that somebody else hurt you, and now you're like, I don't know how the hell that happened, and not entirely sure what's going on here, but I guess that I'm gonna try and figure it out a different way. The thing with this, the most, is remembering that Three of Swords, it's more painful when you keep reverting back to it. Because swords are thoughts, right? So when we initially get hurt, it's a pain in our chest. And it actually is something like our heart. There are like it's scientifically proven that your heart muscle actually gets wounded when your heart is like, that's why they say your heart's broken. There's some kind of chemical reaction when you get hurt in some way, like when my heart chakra opened up and spilled all over the place. It was like I literally felt like I was dying because I couldn't catch my breath. I felt like I was having a heart attack, even though I knew I wasn't having a heart attack. It was like an anxiety attack more than anything. But it was so painful in my chest and in my heart. It felt like I was like, that's the only way I can explain it, is it felt like I was dying. The only way that can continue to confuse you over and over and over again is if you go back to it. What you can do is during your meditation and getting in touch with yourself and finding out how to love yourself a little bit more, is you release it with love. You release the person who did it. You release the experience that did it. You release the environment that did it. You release the whatever it was, situation, experience, environment, people, whatever it was that broke you down and put you in a place of now what, right? And you go on that journey of self-discovery, and some of you are just beginning that spiritual awakening process while this Uranus goes retrograde, and some of you were born into it. Some of you were born into already being woke, and some of you are coming to the end of a cycle of being in pain. You're healing, right? That World card on the Eight of Cups is saying you are finally healing. And you may be getting remnants of the past showing up in your mind again, just so you can honor it. Not so you can sit in that feeling anymore. Some of you are right in the middle of this, where you have already gone through your awakening, and now you're like right in the middle of the healing, right? We're all in a different area of this cycle. This World card, we're all in a different area of this. But all of us have to go on a journey, and it's a very personal journey. It's very transformational, and it's different for everyone. So I am not going to pretend that I know how you feel while it happens. Okay. What I am going to say is you're not alone, because we all have to go through the process of losing all of the things that no longer serve us. And if that means losing everything, then you lose everything like I did. And I can't really say everything because I still have my kids, but everything except my kids I lost. And then I gained it all back tenfold. And even better, there are some things that I would like to change, and I'm still growing, right? But some of you are in the process of losing everything right now. Some of you are in the middle of it. You've lost some things and you haven't lost everything quite yet. That doesn't mean with this Five of Pentacles, I feel like this Five of Pentacles is like a blip in the radar. It's like reminding yourself to stay humble, but I don't want you to think that you have a lack mentality or that there's a sense of you missing out on something just because, right? Ace of Wands at the bottom. So we have 3 aces in this reading, which I absolutely love. So there's opportunity, opportunity, opportunity all over the place, emotionally, mentally, physically, okay? But we have the Emperor on the Five of Pentacles. Now, here's what's really, really interesting about this is this is actually saying that you have more control over what's going on in your existence than you think you do. Yes, we have free will, which is what I feel like is happening here. But at the same time, you have to understand that you were born into this lifetime, because some of us just want to live in the 5D, and we don't want to have to deal with the 3D lessons, right? We don't want to have to deal with all that crap. But you were born into this lifetime with the rules that you were born into, the propaganda, all of the programming, all of that. You were born into this lifetime for a reason, either to transcend it or so you can learn from it and then teach other people, which I feel like a lot of you are having to do that. I know that that's, like, I would love to be on a mountaintop every single day and not have to worry about anything, right? And just be like in a different state of mind, conscious state of mind all the time. But that's not my lot in life. My lot in life is that I was born in this place at this time as this human so that I can learn lessons and then teach you guys, right? So what you have to do is gain control of why you think you're lacking in some way, because you're actually not. There's so much, oh my God. I mean, seriously. So we have the Ace of Wands, the Chariot, and the Three of Wands. There's so much out there for you. I wasn't going to pick all these cards. I was just going to pick up the Ace of Wands and talk about it, but all the stuff there. There's so much out there for you. So much more out there for you, but you're being groomed to get there. And we all have to be groomed. If you have to have a job just to pay the bills and do your side hustle or do your the thing that you know that you're supposed to be doing as your purpose in life, whether it's like a drum circle at night or getting together with people who have addictions or whatever it is that you feel like your purpose may not be your job. Your purpose may be a side thing that you do, a hobby that you do, something that's going to help other people in humanity. It may not be your actual job that you do every day, but you still have to make a living because you have to survive, because that's what we were born into. You get what I'm saying? So the Five of Pentacles, yes, some of you might actually feel physically poor, like you don't have enough. Some of you feel like you've been kicked out of your life. Some of you feel like you have been taken advantage of. All sorts of things. Could be all sorts of things, right? I'm not going to pretend what the Five of Pentacles means to you. But what I feel like this is saying you actually have more control over your existence than you're allowing yourself to believe. The universe has a destiny for all, like they know, the source, higher self, spirit guides, they all know better than what we actually, our human ego gets in the way and we think that we know better, or we think that we know what's up. They know more than we do. And they know what's best for us. But while you're in this existence, that doesn't mean that you're just like, all right, I'm just going to give it all away. That's what I mean by you have to have a healthy balance of stability and an open-mindedness to change. Right? That's what this Uranus retrograde is going to teach all of us. That healthy boundary, or that healthy balance between being stable and being open-minded and open to change. All right, you guys, I love you. Thanks for being here, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye.